Miniart 135th Grant Mk1, Part 6, How to Improve Your Chipping. Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, it's good to have you with us. You're most very welcome. Right, chipping. So, bit of a contentious issue. A lot of it is overdone and not really thought about. But to me, I think it is an important part of certainly tank and truck modelling. As soon as the vehicle leaves the factory, to me it can get chipped, and the harsh environments of war, whether it be in the desert or mud on the eastern front, means that the armour and trucks can get chipped really easily. The fighting soldiers, they had a job to do, and to them, they didn't really care about what stood in their way, so they'd drive through walls or in the harsh environment of the desert. So to me, chipping is an important part of armour modelling. With that, I've done chipping videos before. I've done the goulash cannon and the German truck most recently, and also way back with my British truck. I was never really happy with the chipping results, although they look quite effective. I thought the chips were oversized and not necessarily in the right place. So with this video, I really wanted to concentrate on the sizing of the chips and the logical places that I put them. So hopefully I've come up with a technique that you guys can replicate and will help make better models, which is what we're all trying to strive for. So with that being said, let's get to it, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so this is where we got to. I have done a pin wash, which I didn't film because you've seen me do pin washes before. So all the went around all the rivets and the doors and every raised detail. It took a while because there was quite a lot on this tank, as you can see. And there's the turret again with the pin wash. I tried to make the surface detail really come to life just with some washes. It's got the steel texture, so I wanted to make that visible. Okay, so the chipping. I'll start with a light colour chip. So this is 2 drops of AK 3rd Gen buff and 3 drops and 2 drops of off-white, and then into that I added just a couple of drops of retarder from VMS, and I think that's the real game changer in this. By putting that in, the paint stays consistent over the length of time it takes to do the chipping, so it doesn't dry out, it doesn't change its consistency, it just remains constant, and I think that's important. So there you go. So it's a light, ever so slightly lighter colour than the main body of the tank, and a nice smooth consistency. Okay, so in order to do the chipping, I'm going to use some packing sponge. You can see I've used quite a bit of this one already. Just pull a bit off, and then roughen up the edges so you've got no straight lines, just to give it that extra bit of randomness. Then I've got these tweezers that you can lock into place. You can see I only use them for chipping by all the sponge that's on the end, and it just makes it really easy to hold. Dip the sponge into the paint and then get most of it off on the paper towel, and you want it sort of there, and then work your way around the tank. Now this is the important bit. You need to focus on where places are going to get scratched. So flat forward facing sides are going to be hit by the wind and the sand, and then any sharp raised areas are going to get chipped. And you can see how careful I'm being, just to apply the smallest amount of paint that I can, to get the really, really tiny micro chips, which is what we want. So those bracing bits are going to be, the bit that hit the things that the tank drives into. Hinges, leading edges, where the rivets are, that sort of thing. Now I'm going over the green paint as well, to show that gets chipped, revealing the sand colour underneath. You just work your way around the tank, and say paying attention to the logical bits that are going to get chipped. And this is interesting. I've done all of that just with one dip into the paint. So here's my second dip into the paint. And you can see how long that's lasting, and that's due to the retarder that I added to the paint mix. So carrying on, just building up the effect gradually, going over places where I don't feel I've got enough, and just work my way around. And you can see some of these chips are absolutely tiny, but that's what we want. We want the chips as small as possible. So there you go, that's the whole tank done. You can see I concentrated on the skirts, and especially the corners of the skirts and the fronts of the skirts. Just general wear and tear over the whole tank. Anywhere the crew would walk, around the top of the gunner's hatch at the top, and that sort of thing. Right, on to the next step. I'm going to use the same colour that I used for the tracks in my last video, because I feel that was a really good steel colour. So it's 4 drops of dark grey, and then 1 drop of Vallejo sky grey, just to lighten it a bit, and then just to bring in a bit of colour and a bit of suggestion of rust, just a couple of drops of whole red. And then more of the magic ingredient, which is the VMS retarder. 2 drops of that. and mix that all up, and it's a really nice dark grey steel colour. Now, on all my previous chipping, I've used camouflage black brown, but I think this gives a better effect. So you can see it's almost like a lilac colour, sort of very pinky grey, which I think works really well. Now I'm using a 20 sable brush from Pro Art. I just picked this up at my local art shop. Testing it with my finger. It's got a nice point on this brush, but the point didn't last, but that didn't really matter. It ended up with one straggly bristle, which actually worked really well because it allowed me to get some really fine chips. I'm just working around on the lighter paint and just putting the chips inside the lighter colour, and you can see how small I'm going. Really minuscule amounts of paint. Just works really well. And again, I'm not going over the top. I'm not doing every single one. Just so that there are some scuffs, as well as some chips that go down to the base metal. Have I done too many? Probably. I normally do, but I'm trying to be quite restrained this time. And there you go, so you just work your way around, and that's sort of where I got to. So you can see how fine those chips are. Some of them I have joined up to make longer ones, and certainly on leading edges and pointy bits, it's quite a lot of chips. So that's the tank as it stands after all the chips. I've done some scrapes on the front there, and I think that's looking really realistic. Lots around the hatchways. I've painted the exhaust grey, but I'll come back to those with some rust afterwards. And there you go. And then there's the turret as well. I haven't done too much because the turret's not going to be as exposed as the main body of the tank. So just a few on there, around the hatch and that sort of thing. Now, of course, the other contentious issue when you're modelling armour, especially desert armour, is how much it actually rusts. Now, to me, as soon as the paint is chipped off and the steel is allowed to meet with oxygen and any moisture in the air, rust will occur. And certainly in the desert at night, it can get quite cold, and the dew will settle and cause the rust to start. So I feel that rust is an important part, even in modelling tanks from the desert. So I'm going around with Abteilung red ochre light dust oil paint, and not on every chip, but on lots of chips. So I'm just putting some paint down, working in a small area, and then we'll come through and disperse it with some odourless thinners in a minute. So you can see I'm just working around. I'm going to put some stains around the hinges, and yeah, just work your way around the tank. And then here's the blending, just with some odorless thinners, just like a tapping motion with a different brush. This is a bit of a larger brush with a flatter end because the bristles have worn out a bit. And just trying to disperse the paint to almost just like a thin haze. Just showing a bit of colour and a bit of staining around on the sand coloured paint. And again, just work your way around, and yeah, disperse it all. So there you go, that's that side of the tank done. You see I focused on around the edges on the skirts, and around the door, around the hinges. I think the hinges have come out really nicely. And yeah, there we go. That'll probably do for this week. I haven't had a lot of bench time, so I apologise for not achieving much. I've got some time off next week, so hopefully I can try and finish this tank, because I'm starting to get a bit bored with it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.